Everybody enjoy their weekend?
It was a weekend?
Absolutely.
About anybody else, but I know that we're still picking up the yard from the storm.
That's
What
what I
storm?
did. That's what I did on Saturday.
What storm? We're still picking leaves and sticks up.
That's what I did all day Saturday. Got the yard cut.
Gee whiz. I guess I got lucky. I was hoping it would pour rain.
You need it bad.
No kidding. We're in a rain shadow.
Well, we had to chainsaw one tree,
There you go.
pretty much.
Okay. Donna, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Did Nancy send you all the documents we're using?
Yep, I'm all set. I have everything.
Excellent. All right, look, Deborah will probably be joining shortly. Let's get the show on the road unless somebody objects. Oh, there's Deb. She's here. Okay. Okay, we'll start.
I was on and then I got kicked off. Sorry.
Who would do such a thing?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to call to order the special meeting of the Tiverton Budget Committee of August 10th, 2020. We'll start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to
Allegiance.
the flag
Flag
of the United States
of America.
the Republic, which stands
Stands
one nation,
One nation,
under
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Deb, could you please call the roll?
I will. Jay Edwards,
Here.
Janik here. Tom Haley. Tom Haley's here. He's here. Ruth Hollenbach,
Present.
Jen Jocelyn,
Here.
Brendan McNally,
Present.
Jennifer Rashley,
Present.
Sherry Aker,
Present.
Mike Dakotas,
Present.
Joe Souza,
Present.
and Tom Hamilton.
Here,
Okay, everybody's got a copy of the agenda, right? And everybody should have Tom's August 10th, dated August 10th budget docket, not resolutions, revenue estimates, the tax levy worksheet. Okay. I would like to make a motion that we move item number 5 on the agenda up to number 4. Start with it first. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got.
Show of hands, all those in favor. Okay. So we'll start with a discussion and approval and vote on the municipal budget requests. I'll ask Chris first. Do you have any changes that you would like us to consider?
Not at the present time.
Okay. I would like to, unless somebody disagrees, I would like to suggest that we approve this document with 3 different votes. One will be for the capital request. One will be for the municipal requests, followed by the school expenses request. Is
Jay, I
everybody-
just have one thing. So on wastewater, I have to abstain. I can't vote on wastewater.
Okay. Nancy,
But
does
I-
she have to fill out a form for that?
But I can, if we do it in sections, I can approve the section. I just can't vote on that individual line item.
Oh, well, we're not going to do each individual line item unless somebody disagrees with that. We're going to, I would like to just move to the final number.
Okay,
Is
then we're good then.
Does anybody present disagree? Deb Janik? You're muted, Deb.
Sorry. Do we have an answer on the SRO?
Yes, I do, and I sent it to everybody, but the school, according to Jerry Larkin, has no intention of unfunding the SRO.
They have no intention of unfunding, or
They're going to fund it.
they're gonna, okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my first phone call today.
okay. And,
Okay.
and I apologize because I tried to look at the emails quickly, but I had a crazy
Okay.
work day. I also had one other question. It's on the revenue side. And we may have talked about it, and I apologize if we haven't, but it's on the senior center. Are we still getting revenue from the senior center? Because my understanding, my remembrance is the revenue is for the classes, and then they pay for them, and then the revenue, it kind of offsets each other. Unless we're getting revenue from the stuff they're selling.
When I talked to Janet Holmes, they had ladies coming in, picking up materials, and then taking them home for their use. They had also made a bunch of masks for the town. That's about it.
Okay, because we're showing revenue.
What's the line item?
We're showing miscellaneous revenue, senior center, account number 4999.
While we're on this too, because I was actually going to bring it up as a section on the expense side. Are there any further reductions that can be taken there in lieu of COVID? Like, I didn't know if the bus service was still going, if we would experience any kind of reduction in heat, electric, and also too, travel expenses. It's not a lot of money, but there was something in there for travel expenses. Will any of those?
You're talking about the
Reduce.
senior center,
I
correct?
am, yeah, I thought when I was gonna ask when we got to that, because with them not, them being kind of like a service area where people come in and out, with them not being able to go in and out, I wanted to find out if there was any other reductions, because even too, like supplies, activities, instructions around 13,000. Like I said, travel expenses was 750. I didn't know if we were going to see any reduction in that in lieu of COVID.
I don't know if Chris Cotta got to talk to Janet, but I know that they still had been, like I think someone had mentioned before, but lunches are still being made for a lot of the seniors. And so the kitchen's being used. And I think that they are still sending supplies out to seniors for, different things that, maybe stuff to keep them, to help keep them occupied. So I don't know if Chris got a chance to talk to Janet, but I know the bus isn't running, but they were, waiting because a lot of people depend on the bus, to run.
Okay, look, can we do something, because right off the get-go, we're bouncing. Can we stay with questions on the budget? And then if we have questions on revenue, go to that instead of bouncing back and forth, because it makes it very difficult.
Okay, it's just
So-
gonna change, it'll change the bottom
Want
line.
to call on each one of us to ask if we have questions on the budget?
I'm going to do that in a minute. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to do this alphabetically. And let's try to limit it to 3 minutes apiece, or we'll be here forever. Sherry Aker, questions on the budget? You're muted. There you go.
The only question that I had, and just to be reminded of why we went up to 85,000 in the contingency fund for the town council when the request was 67,000.
To deal with the director's salary increases.
Oh, that's right.
There is nothing
Okay.
budgeted for any of them.
And I'm trying to see where the library is listed.
It's
Way in the back.
way in the back.
Okay, so it's not,
The library is pretty much level funded. The $2,000 less and they'll be level funded.
right. That's the only thing that I would like to consider is, since is making a motion to level fund. And that's the only other thing I have that I actually had a question on.
Okay. Mike Dakotas?
Hey, guys. I think I'm good for now. I might have questions later, but right now, no.
Hallie?
Nope, I'm good. Thanks.
Excuse me, Tom?
I'm good. You having trouble hearing me?
No, Tom Hamilton?
No questions.
Ruth Hollenbach?
No questions at this moment.
Deb Janik?
I'm all set.
Jen Joslin?
Nope, I'm good.
Brendan?
Jay, my question is just more about process. Are we going to go through each one of the municipal categories, line items, and approve them? What's the goal?
The goal is to approve final numbers for capital, municipal, and school. We've already been over the budget in its entirety multiple times. So if we could just get a couple of little items that might pop up out of the way, then we can just go on and vote for the whole package, that part of the package.
Right, but will you be going like through each one of the the named accounts, numbered accounts, and take them as a whole group, or is that how we're going?
I would rather, I had hoped that we could just vote on total capital expenditures, and then total municipal expenses, and then total school expenses. And then that in itself generates the grand total.
Correct. Will we be also voting on revenue?
Yeah, but after we do this, because I guarantee you, we're going to have to do something with revenue to meet what we've agreed on the budget.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to move it up first.
Great.
In other words, let revenue chase the budget.
Great. Okay, I have no questions on the budget. Thank you.
Jen Rashley?
Are you saying move the whole budget forward?
In the agenda, line 4 was the discussion and a vote to approve revenue estimates. I asked that we move the discussion and vote to approve municipal budget requests first, ahead of that.
Okay, all right, so that's where we are. All
So
right.
now we're
Okay, so no, for municipal budget, I do not have for the question.
okay. Who we got? Joe Souza.
Well, we haven't had a lot of discussion about the library, which is closed. So there should be a lot of savings for them, I would think, being closed. And their employees, I'm not up on whether they're still paying their employees or whether they laid off their employees or what the situation is over there. But I do know that the library is going to be closed quite a bit into the next fiscal year. So I don't understand why we're even level funding. Why didn't we cut that budget?
Because we can't.
Yes, we can.
Also,
Don't say you can't, because you could get,
Okay.
if you cut it, they apply for a waiver. Don't just say you can't do it. You can, and they could apply for a
Right.
waiver because they're not open and it's a COVID situation where they're not open. So, they don't need as much money. The only thing, and so don't ever tell me that you can't, because if you read the damn law, it says that you can cut the budget in certain situations. That's all I'm saying. Look, I'll leave it up to petition the budget. I'll leave it up. You people obviously want to run a 4% tax increase. So I got nothing else to say.
Reopened on
I was
June
speaking. Can
27th.
you quit interrupting me? I had the floor. I'm supposed to have 3 minutes, and I've been interrupted 3 times.
Go ahead.
We can cut the budget. All they have to do is apply for a waiver, the same thing as the schools. And under the circumstances, I'm quite sure they would grant it, because the state's looking at financial situations. Whatever. I said all I'm going to say. I'm just going to rely on the petitioner budget, because I don't think this committee is able to get the budget down enough.
Jen Joslin.
The library reopened June 27th, is currently open Monday 11 to 2, Tuesday 11 to 6, Wednesday 11 to 6, Thursday 11 to 2, Friday 11 to 2, Saturday 11 to 2.
Limited staff, limited operation.
So the issue at hand is, yes, we could apply for a waiver, but we have not. We will not be able to get that done in the time. It probably wouldn't get approved real quick. The very most we can do is remove $2,000 from the $585 or a $585,000 maintenance of effort for the library. Everybody understands that.
I just want one thing, Jay, I just want to say, and Joe's absolutely right that this is exactly the kind of situation that waiver is for. That is an absolute fact. So please don't shake your head. No, don't say no. It is exactly.
I understand. I understand the concept of the
Okay.
waiver.
So nobody.
But we don't do it.
Right.
Right, but Ruth, do you think we should scream at each other about it? Because my ears are ringing.
No, I didn't
we're
say
not.
anything about.
It just started the meeting. We don't need to be screaming.
But he
Joe
was.
might
He
be
was
right,
also.
but
Mike.
we don't need to yell about
Okay,
it.
guys.
Here.
Mike, you're interrupting me. Hang on. He
I'm not
was
interrupting
interrupted.
you. I'm
He
not
was
interrupting you.
He was
I
interrupted.
didn't interrupt you. Stop talking. When you stop talking, I started.
No,
I didn't
yeah,
interrupt you. I didn't cut
All
you
right,
off.
listen.
I didn't cut you off, and don't start that. Ruth, I'll
Please
be
be
happy that you're
quiet.
not on this committee going forward.
Okay,
You,
listen.
you look to pick bones with people. Enough
We have-
already.
What are you talking
4
about?
years of doing it, Ruth.
What are you talking
Mike,
about?
will
You're out of
you
your mind.
please?
What are you talking-
Look,
This guy
you
is
guys
like-
are just feeding
he's
off
talking
of each other.
4
Please
years of-
stop. Ruth,
Unbelievable. That comment
Now.
is really rude.
we have 2
Unbelievable.
issues at hand that, yes, Jen Rashley.
So a question, did Sherry or someone move to reduce it to level fund the library?
That's
I was
where I want
going
to
to,
go.
I was waiting for Jay to tell us when he wanted motions.
Okay, listen. I'm trying to say, we have two issues that have come up. One is level funding the library. So would anybody care to make a motion to do that? Remove $2,000 from the library request. Sherry Aker.
I'd like to make a motion to fund the library at $585,000, which is what they were funded at on budget number 2 last year.
Do we have a second?
Doesn't it have to be $1 above?
Okay, let's assume it does.
580, I'll amend that 586,000.
No.
No.
Oh, sorry, 585 and $1.
All right,
Yes.
good point. So we have a motion to fund the library at $585,001. Do we have a second? Joe, are you seconding?
I'll second it.
I second it, but it doesn't matter.
Joe, you were muted. I'm sorry.
I second it.
All right. Any discussion?
It's not enough.
Okay. Jen Rashley.
Now more than ever, this is when libraries are needed, when people are applying for jobs, and when people are losing their jobs and they can't pay for their internet service. And this having a library accessible is central to keeping an economy going.
Any other discussion? Sherry Aker.
The only thing I want to say is that I realize it's only $2,000, but I don't think it's fair to level fund, the schools and everybody else and not also look at that, that their budget was increased last year. And because of the reduction, I think they'll still be able to operate the way that they have been, with the other reductions they have seen. And I don't think $2,000 is going to hurt them significantly.
Any other comments? Okay. We'll take a roll call vote. Please say yes or no. Sherry Aker, yes or no?
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
No.
Brenda McNally,
No.
Jennifer Rashley,
No,
Joe Souza.
Yes.
I will be a no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The vote is 7-4 in favor of reducing the library to $585,001. The motion carries. Tom, you want to punch that into your sheet? The next item that came up was, Sherry, what was it?
My question was answered. That was, I don't have anything else.
Okay, did I miss anything on reductions? Okay, so it appears then that we have no further discussion or suggested reductions to the budget document. So we have capital expenditures of $229,146. So I will make a motion to approve capital expenses in the amount of $229,146,000. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any
Brandon.
discussion? I'm sorry. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Nancy? Clerk, you're muted. You're muted. There you go.
Well, I just want to make sure when you're taking a bottom line like that, are you saying you're making that motion as presented on the spreadsheet? Because to just say 229, I could put it anywhere I want.
Okay.
I don't know that it makes a difference. I'm just saying that.
We removed everything from capital except recurring major time finance payments, which come to 229,146. And that's what I was making a motion for.
Okay, so your motion's amended to say specifically for time payments. Because otherwise,
Yes.
if you say the bottom line, we could.
No, that's a good point. Me and myself and Robert's rules aren't on real good terms.
So,
all right, I shouldn't have. It's your
Nancy,
I'm not-
does that mean then we have to do this in sections?
I don't know, because I'm not an attorney, but I would say if this were the council doing it, you
Yeah.
should at least specify the bottom lines of each department. If you're going to take the bottom,
Yeah, like
you
we've
either
done
have
in the
to say,
past.
as presented in this spreadsheet, in this docket, that would cover it, because as you've got it written here. But if you just take a bottom line and don't refer to something, that's my interpretation. Chris, do you stand any different?
I would say the same thing, that your motion is referring to the docket prepared as of August 10th, and the capital items are on page 4, delineated on the spreadsheet. And
So we should say then, make a motion to approve the grand total municipal capital. Do it that way?
yeah, as presented on the August 10th spreadsheet.
Okay. I will amend my motion to approve the grand total municipal capital as expressed on the August 10th Budget Committee budget in the dollar amount of $229,146. Again, do we have a second?
I'll second. Brendan?
Brendan seconds.
I won't interfere anymore. I'll stay muted.
No, keep me honest, you know. If we were in person, you could smack me. All right. Any discussion? Okay, then I will ask for a roll call vote. Again, please, yes or no. Sherry Aker. You're muted.
Yes.
Yes. Mike Dakotas.
Yes.
I will be a yes. Tom Haley.
Yes.
Tom Hamilton.
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach.
Yes.
Deb Janik.
Yes.
Jen Joslin.
Yes.
Brendan McNally.
Yes.
Jennifer Rashley.
Yes.
Joe Souza.
Nay.
Okay. So using this system, I will make a motion that we approve the grand total for general government as expressed on the August 10th Budget Committee budget in the amount of $1,354,743. Do I have a second?
Second.
Deb Janik seconds.
No, actually, I didn't second. I think it was Sherry.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Sherry.
Okay, it was me.
Okay, so any discussion?
Can you just read that number again, Jay?
1,354,743. We're on
Okay.
page 7.
Okay. Thank you. I wasn't catching up quickly.
No problem. I think we're all getting shell shocked with numbers after a while. No discussion? Okay, do a roll call vote again. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'll be a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
Yes.
Brenda McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Ashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
No.
Jay, can I ask a question? Should we
Yes,
go
you
back
may.
into debt service? Because we started at the capital, but we didn't do debt service, which was page 1.
We didn't do debt service because, oh, we did? Oh, we did.
No, we started at the capital.
Shame on me. Very
We don't
good.
need to pay our debt. Let's get a waiver on that.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the grand total of debt service as expressed on the August 10th committee budget in the amount of 4,753,380.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? These are all pretty much, we got to do them. Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'll be yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
Yes.
Brenda McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Ashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
No.
Interesting.
Smell an alternate budget coming.
Have a ball.
Knock yourself out.
Okay. Go to page 9. The grand total for financial administration. I make a motion that we approve the amount for grand total financial and administration as expressed on the August 10th Budget Committee budget in the amount of 5,804,551.
Second.
Ted Janik seconds. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
Yes.
Brenda McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Rashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
No.
Page 13. Grand total for protection to persons and property. I'll make a motion that we approve the grand total for protection to persons and property as expressed on the August 10th Budget Committee budget in the amount of 6,213,688.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
Yes.
Brenda McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Rashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
No.
Page 15, grand total public works. I will make a motion that we approve grand total public works as expressed in the August 10th Budget Committee budget in the amount of 2,349,761. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Brendan?
Brendan seconds. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
Yes.
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Rashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
No.
Grand total associated activities. Page 16. We'll make a motion that we approve grand total for associated activities as expressed in the August 10th Budget Committee budget in the amount of 134,391.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? No? Okay, roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
No.
no. Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Ben Joslin,
Yes.
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Rashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
No.
Page 17. Grand total, grants and health, which includes the library. So, Tom, what's the grand total going to be?
New number is 598,551.
598,551. Thank you. So I'll make a motion that we approve grand total grants and health as expressed in the August 10th Budget Committee budget in the amount of 598,551.
I'll second.
We have a second. Discussion. Okay, roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
No.
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jen Rashley,
No.
Joe Souza.
No.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 yeses, 3 noes, motion carries. Still on page 7. I'm sorry? I thought somebody said something. Page 17, continuing grand total parks and recreation. I'll make a motion that we approve grand total for Parks and Recreation as expressed in the August 10th Budget Committee budget in the amount of 48109.
I'll
We have a-
second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, Chris.
So I didn't remember taking out the winter recreation.
Well, we talked about that last week, Chris, because of COVID. Didn't think, like, a lot of things have already been canceled for Halloween already, public events.
Okay.
And then Denise Surratt said that if we got to the point where the Christmas tree lighting was to take place, they still had the money that Mr. LeBeau had donated to go back to.
Okay.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a question on that.
Yes, Tom.
The number I'm looking at for the grand total is 59969. I have the August 10th spreadsheet. So I'm wondering, and all my other numbers have been correct. That's just the only one that appears to be off.
I'm looking at 48109.
I am too.
Me too.
Yeah, or it's 109.
I think Tom sent an updated one out, Tom Hamilton, after the last meeting on Thursday.
Oh, did you say August 10th at the top?
No, it doesn't.
That's why.
Okay.
So you're not looking at quite the latest and greatest, but
You know, as long as there's an explanation.
will that do it for you?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions?
No, that was it.
No, not just you, everybody. Okay, roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
and Jocelyn,
Yes.
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Ashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza,
No.
okay. I guess we can do this one separate too. Page 18, the SRO school offset. As I mentioned, I talked to Jerry Larkin today, and he said there has been no discussion within the school committee to not fund the SRO.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's good. Glad to hear that.
I've been hearing several different things from, it depended who you talk to and when you talk to them. But we don't need to vote on that number separately, do we?
We have in the past.
We do.
Okay,
We have in the past.
let's do it. I'll make a motion that we approve we're on page 18, the SRO school offset as expressed in the August 10th Budget Committee budget in the amount of $62,000, which is an offset. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Rob? Any further discussion on that? Okay. Roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
Yes.
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Ashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
No.
Okay. This having been done, Tom, what is the total for municipal expenses going to be now without
Um,
the library with the library reduction?
Right, the new total is 21,195,174, or 21,195,174.
Thank you, Tom.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's 2,000.
Because Jen, we took 1,999 out of the library.
Yes, sorry, I was looking at
No
a
problem.
different-
Believe me, I do this all the time. I get all fuzzy. Okay, so I will make a motion that we approve total municipal expenses as expressed in the August 10th Budget Committee budget as amended in the amount of $21,195,474.
174.
174, yeah,
Oh, what did I say? 400?
right.
Yes.
Why did I write 400? $174. Thank you.
So you want to state the whole number again, please?
21,195,174. Is that right?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just want to make sure that's right because it was 173. So
Yeah.
we're
how
sure
can it
it's
be
174.
Because you had that, you took 2,000 out and had a dollar.
Oh, and $1. That's why. Okay.
That does it. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes,
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
Yes,
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Rashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
No,
That brings us to total school expenses.
Oh, wait, are we going to combine, add that
Well,
with the capital and
yep.
pass the
Thank
total
you,
capital?
Jennifer.
21,424,320.
Jen, all those years of experience, you're a pro.
You got a fast pencil.
Can you read that number off again?
21,424,320.
Thanks.
And thank you, Jennifer Rashley, for keeping me honest. All right, so I'll make a motion for total municipal expenses from the August 10th Budget Committee budget as amended in the total amount of 21,424,320.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion on that final number? Okay, roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
yes,
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
yes,
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Rashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
no,
Okay, now that brings us to total school expenses. So everybody got the explanation I got from Denise Surratt, and I emailed to everybody about how to handle the maintenance of effort and how to handle the revenue that the state is providing over and above last year. And hopefully we actually get what they say we will. So I make a motion that we approve from the August 10th Budget Committee budget 32,126,519 for total school expenses. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Brenda McNally seconds. Discussion.
I just have one question.
Yes, Chris.
What's the amount that goes in the middle of the school request?
I believe what you're looking for is 33,174,899. I went through everything I could find and tried to there's been several iterations of all of this. So what I did was I started with the MOE, then I put in what was the very first original school request. And then we had a budget committee recommendation that was 2% over that, over the MOE. Then the school committee came back with a whole bunch of reductions and they came out with a new number.
And that's the new number?
No, and then after that, they came out with another one, which was predicated on another bunch of reductions. And that's what this one is. That's what that number is.
Right.
And then we in turn came out with a level funding.
No, I get that. I just want to make sure that they get the appropriate number of whatever it is that they believe they asked for to be put in there so that people can know. It is,
See, that's what I said. I was trying to say, there's been so many iterations of this thing. Do we want to put in there their very first request, which was like 11.06%?
There's usually a deadline when they have to get something in by. I know that, usually the town council, you work with them for a while and
okay, that was
drop dead, whatever that number is, and the schools do the same. But I just don't know. I wasn't around when all that happened, so I don't know what the number is that belongs there.
That was, am I wrong, April 2nd?
I'm assuming that's what it is, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was 33,174,899.
Okay, it is, if that's what it is, I would just confirm that with the school before you publish the docket.
Okay, that means I'll have to call them tomorrow. But that doesn't change what we're doing here. I'm sorry, Brendan.
No, and I think the only thing that might be confusing to voters is typically there's the column that talks about what the town council request is. And pretty much for every item except for the school resource officer and the school budget, those are all numbers submitted. But if the number that Chris is talking about putting in to say what was the official submission from the school committee for us to vote on, it almost like needs a little asterisk on here to say that this wasn't the number approved by the town council, but rather what was requested by the school committee.
Okay, in March 3rd, the March 3rd budget that we got, which included, it did not have the department head request or the town council approved because they didn't have it yet.
This was a conversation we had last year about this specific thing, about them having a column in, and I can't remember. There was one that we had 2 years ago when Mr. Karen was on the board that we had the asterisks along the bottom, and then it came back up in the conversation last year and we took it out. And I don't remember whose recommendation that was, but it wasn't on last year's report either.
Well,
Last year has the approved FTR budget request for the schools.
all right, so let me continue here. So
Right, but it doesn't have the school committee
on
request.
April 2nd, we had another dated budget committee document. And on that one, there is a department head request for 2021 for total school expenses, which is 33174,899, which is where I got that number.
The reason why I ask is because I still, even though if it gets under 4%, it doesn't matter. I still have to go to the Office of Municipal Finance to seek approval to publish this docket. So I need to know what that number is to be put in the formulary to show what was asked for and what was ultimately approved to go forward to publish this docket. So that's, if you can confirm that number tomorrow, it'd be great.
Okay, I'll do that.
I don't care what the number is, I just need to know what it is.
No, and it really doesn't affect, Nancy?
Your end vote doesn't matter. It's, you know,
Jay, I'm looking at last year's docket, and under the school committee, on that last total, it does have written right on there, school committee request. So we do need that middle number. And if you look at last year's docket, you're going to find that it was actually typed in the docket. School committee request.
So what do we do?
Column under town council requests. When
Yeah.
it hits the school committee, it says school committee request.
So what do we do? Put something in brackets that says school committee request?
It's just printed right on the docket. You can look at last year's docket to see.
Okay.
Tom, I'm sure you did last year's docket, so you must have it on yours.
All right. So we could do that, and I will verify that number, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be accurate. All right, so we
Jay,
should just to read
Could I have that number, that magic number one more time?
33174,899, and just put a little heading above it that says it's the school committee's request.
Okay. Okay.
So to remind everybody where we're at, we had a motion and a second for 32126,519 total school expenses. And do we have any further discussion on that? Okay, take a roll call vote.
Wait, hold on. Sorry,
Okay.
I was having trouble hearing you. I would like to amend that number. To be, 3, 2, um, 390,000.
Tom, what's the difference in those two numbers?
Okay.
500,000.
Well, the number here is 32,126.
519.
So your number, Jen, would.
I'm sorry. I'm adding to the one. No, sorry. I'm adding to the wrong thing. That's not what I meant. I'd like it to be 32,626,519. My apologies.
So you want to add $500,000.
Yes.
Okay.
With the
Why?
intention of drawing from the general reserve balance.
And I'm going to tell you that it's not going to be there, but okay, so how do you want to do this?
Need a second.
Well, that's not what
Yeah, for an amendment, you have to have a second.
that's not what I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Pardon.
Can we pencil that number in? and then look at the revenue. Would that be appropriate, or do we need to actually make a motion and a second vote on it? And then if we find out the revenue isn't there, come back and do it again?
We have to make the motion and then we can go to discussion and then we can plug the number in and go, right?
Okay.
Or we could wait and not vote on this part and go look at revenue now and then come back and do that number.
Which is what you were going to make a motion for, was 32626519.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll second it so we can discuss it and then let's just look at the revenue side.
Okay, we have motion and a second. Discussion?
Can we, Tom Haley, have the number that you currently have for the grand total general fund expenses?
Yeah, the grand total right now without that.
Not changing the school, just leaving that how it is.
The new number is 53550-839.
Can you say that again? I missed the last.
Yep, 53550-839.
Yeah.
You're very muffled. Is there
Hello?
anything you can do on your end?
Okay, but we're not going to make a motion or vote
No,
on that.
I just wanted to know kind of where we were.
Tom, that was the number with the municipal we just voted on, plus the 32,126,519 for the schools.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, without changing the school number at all.
Okay.
So really, all that represents is taking the money out of the library.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Any discussion on Jennifer's motion?
Well, I'd like to say I applaud Jennifer, sorry, Jen, on that. I think we should support our schools, even though I just voted to take an extra $2,000 from the library. I'm just not quite sure that 500,000 is doable, because I think it's going to put us way over the 4%, even if we drain the general fund. And I think that the whole kit and caboodle from my point of view, and this is just my view only, is that every department is feeling the pinch. And like Councilor DiMadeira said last week, they cut a lot of money out of the municipal budget, way over $1 million. And I mean, if I can help the schools, I will. I want to support them, but I'm just not sure that number would be feasible. But that's just my opinion.
Sherry Aker? You're muted. There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm unmuted now. It takes me a second. I just want to say that we just had to add extra money into the school's budget because of the state aid coming in, I guess, less, they gave them more last year and they didn't this year. And because of the way that is done, it's also causing the number to go up, further than what it was originally. So I don't know. I don't think that anything, it's like we can't take them down lower than level funding, but I just don't see us being able to get that money from anywhere, especially after we just had to put extra money because of the state aid coming in lower.
Any further discussion?
Well,
All right, let's do this.
I have why does she want to add another $500,000?
Because
other than it's the children.
What?
Because we're not taking 20%. We're not taking 20% of the staff and cutting it in any of the other departments. The school will already be running a deficit. This is already an extreme cut. Level funding cuts them way beyond anything that is practical. And in Denise's document, the original one that she sent us, it said, therefore, the unrestricted general reserve balance available to use will range from 1,640,000 to 1,890,000. So 500,000 would be less than a third of the largest number, and it would be about 20% of the second, and still leave a big reserve to work from for all the rest of the town. So that seems like a fair way to try to balance out all of these reductions for everybody. There's still way more left for the rest of the town.
Jennifer, let me ask you a question. Have you looked at the tax levy worksheet that Tom sent us as part of this package, in which we suggested taking 1.3 million out of the reserve?
Yep.
Okay, if you play with that a little bit, you will find
Okay, you're saying
that it isn't until we take 1.5 million that we get below the 4% cap. So if you take that out, then there's really only going to be left 140,000 to 390,000 left in the reserve.
The problem is going to be, you're going to take that money, Jennifer, and put it into maintenance of effort. And we're going to have to come up with it again next year. And as much as I don't want anyone to lose their job, I don't care if it's DPW or the fire department, we're just going to put more stress for next year. And it's terrible. We're in a tough predicament. And I commend you for wanting to do that, believe me.
And I'm going to make another comment. Chris can back me up on this. This year, we were able to realize a lot of savings by just freezing spending. Now, next year, if we don't have any money left in the general and the reserve, we're just going to be in a world of hurt.
Well, can I ask Nancy Mello a question, if she doesn't mind?
Sure.
We started the new fiscal year July 1st. I think I just read that we got a casino payment of like $8,000, right? Something to that effect.
For the month.
For the month.
So we should be getting over, if you did a guaranteed $3 million, we'd be getting over $300,000 a month. If we're getting $8,000 a month, I know the new ordinance puts the money restricted, but we're losing so much money that.
So prior to COVID, so when the casino was running at its optimum, it was generating about $31,000 a month. So that comes to 1.2 million. Right? So for 39 weeks that it ran, 31,000 was 1.2 million. At 8,000 a month, and I'm being highly optimistic that, that's 104,000 is what it would come to. But there's still no guarantee that, that they're gonna, if they have another shutdown, if we get another wave of this crap, if, people are not going there because they're elderly, those who do have resources, there's a whole litany of reasons why they're not going. I just find it, I found what the council did as far as the resolution goes. Well, I don't, many people don't like restricting that money, but really it'd be foolish for it to put any of that money in the budget, because we just don't know what's going to come in. It would be crazy for us to even consider doing that. And, if there are any capital issues that need to be done, it'll be up to the council to figure out a method and a priority as which ones would get done.
Right. And Chris, to add to that, the school's already taking money out of their own fund and out of their Medicaid fund just to put into what this number is here. So they're going to have to find that money again next year.
Yeah.
It's really scary. I commend to put money. I don't want anyone to lose their jobs, but This
So
is such an unknown. How can we do this? We've lost so much money from revenue.
I know. I don't know what their revenue streams are beyond what is, they got a budget last year and they had a surplus last year and they have Medicaid monies, but, I don't know what they have available. And I'm not saying it, and I'm not picking on them. I have no qualm with this. I really do think that there may be some additional revenues that they might be able to find that we don't know anything about, like the Medicaid or some other, that they get. Plus, we believe that they'll be getting some COVID money, but that should be strictly related to COVID issues. So
COVID money
we're not gonna
doesn't
get additional money.
isn't going to affect what their regular running, and they're going to be they're going to have so many more demands on them because of COVID.
My fear is if we
So
give
I
them,
think I'm not personally affected. I don't have any kids going through the system now.
if we give them that much, if we give them that sort of money now, I asked Dr. Sanquioni this a couple times at budget committee meetings. This was back in March, maybe February, March. I asked him, what are you going to do next year? I'm going to ask the same question now. How do you raise that money to keep this gravy train going? Because it's so hurtful that we had to lay off so many teachers. And when I say gravy train, I mean, the money's drying up. There's just nowhere to pick it from. They spent so much money on the bathrooms and the lights and the ceiling tiles and all the work they did to fix the schools. And there's just not a lot left. And we don't have money on the municipal side to take out because we don't have casino money. We lost so much revenue. I mean, we're scraping nickels together to make dollars right now. It's scary. And I don't know. I won't say anymore.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to do it this way, but I will. Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. So let's take a vote. Sherry Aker.
Wait a minute, what are we voting on?
We're voting on.
On Jen's number or?
Nope.
We're voting on the.
Oh, yeah. We're voting on Jen's number.
Jennifer's number, which was 32,626,519. Was that the number? Tom,
Yes.
do I have that right?
Yep. That's what I wrote down.
Yep, thumbs up. Okay.
Okay, so that's it. We had a motion and a second and discussion on the amount of $32,626,519 for the school expenses. So Sherry Aker,
No.
Mike Dakotas,
No.
I'm a no. Tom Haley,
You're muted, Tom.
No, can you hear me now?
yep. Tom Hamilton,
No.
Ruth Hollenbach,
No.
Deb Janik,
Kills me to say this, but no, I just don't know where we'll get it from.
I don't either. Jen Joslin,
You're muted, Jen.
Sorry, no.
Brendan McNally,
No.
Jennifer Rashley,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
Oh,
Okay, I think maybe now is the time that we take a look at the revenue and everybody will understand where we're at.
Well, Jay, we amended the first motion. We have to vote on we amended it and voted on the amendment. Now
Oh,
we
did
have
we
to
amend it?
vote on the initial one, which is the 32,126,519.
All right,
And
so
then
we
we
already
have-
had a motion and a second on that amount.
Yep.
All right, so bear with me.
And then we have to vote on the grand total before we move on.
And then we can vote to reopen what we need to reopen.
Okay. So on the amount of 32,126,519, Sherry Aker,
No.
Mike Dakotas.
No.
No?
You said 32,126,529.
That's level,
519.
Mike.
19.
519. That's level funding plus this, what the state's putting in.
32,126,519.
Yes.
No.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
No.
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Ashley,
No.
Joe Souza.
No.
Okay, we have 6-5 vote in favor. Motion carries for the amount of 32,126,519 for the school department. Now we will move down to grand total general fund expenses as amended. I'll make a motion to approve as presented in the August 10th Budget Committee budget, amended in the amount of 53,550,839. Can't even read my writing. Do I have a second? Is that right, Tom?
That's right.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second.
Who do we got? Brendan, did you second it?
Yep. Yep.
Thank you. Okay, discussion. Appears to be none. Roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
Yes.
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Ashley,
No.
Joe Souza.
No.
Motion carries 9-2. Okay. We will now move on to what we delayed, discussion and vote to approve the revenue estimates. Everybody got a copy of that latest sheet. It's dated August 10th. Chris, are you aware of any changes to this?
I'm not.
Okay, now as part of this, if you also look at the tax levy worksheet, you will notice that the levy increase from fiscal year 20 with abatements is 4.32%. And everybody knows we can't exceed 4%. So,
Jay, if we change the 1.3 from the general to the 1.5, what percentage are we at?
3.77.
So then we have to put a motion in to amend it to that number?
Well, that's where I was going with this. We need to do, what we're going to need to do is inject between 1.4 and 1.5 million of the reserve into the revenue to get this
And the
below 4. Now, the
and the
question then
1.5.
is, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, the 1.5 gives us the cushion we need too, right?
Depends how
We
much
talked-
cushion you want. Do we want 3.77? Do we want 3.9? Do we want 3.8?
Well, let's vote it. Let's put the motion in, vote it, see where we get, and then work from there.
That would be a good plan.
All right, I'll make a motion to amend that to 1.5 million. from the general fund.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to increase the general fund withdrawal, balance withdrawal to 1.5 million. Any discussion?
Question,
Question, Joe?
how close does it put us to a 3%?
3.77.
3.77.
That would be the remaining balance, 3.77%.
Oh,
No, Joe, if we take, we had intended to use 1.3 million.
Let me clarify my question real quick.
Okay,
Okay. We have the restricted general fund, that's that 3%. And then you have the unrestricted, which is above that 3%. We
yeah,
can't go below the 3%,
no.
but by charter. How close are we going? I don't know that, I didn't get the total
Okay,
percentage.
if we take 1.5 million out, that will leave remaining available for use in the
Yes.
general fund balance of
it's between 1 and
140,000 and
because she said
340.
we could use 1.6 to 1.8. So if we
Yeah.
take 1.5, it'll leave between 100 and 700,000, depending on where it comes in.
So we'll still have a little more than 3% in the fund. It's not like we're depleting.
Yeah,
Our
we're not bringing
emergency
it to
fund.
zero.
No,
I mean, that needs to be kind of clarified, that this is money that's above the 3% threshold
yes, it is.
that we're pulling from. So I don't really have a problem with using this money. So as much as we can use to bring the tax rate down.
But do
Oh, I-
you also agree that we need to leave a little bit of a cushion there for events?
Yeah, 3%. But keep in mind, in the event of a severe emergency, you can dip below the 3%. You have to make it up over the next few years, but we
The
can.
next year,
In the event of a severe emergency, we still have that 3% cushion. We're not depleting our rainy day fund, as they say.
I
We're
mean,
just taking what's on top of that.
Was COVID a severe emergency? I mean, they seem to, the council
Well,
seemed to keep it was. I'm just
My
asking.
point is that we're not depleting that reserve that we have in case of emergencies. We're
Yeah.
taking out money above that 3% cushion. So if we did have, say, for instance, a major hurricane next year, we still have maybe we'd have to go into that maybe to take out to get the DPW to clean up. We're not depleting that emergency fund.
For another emergency.
My only
that we-
point.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
just keep in mind that with this budget that we just voted on and approved, there is really no wiggle room. So what happened for fiscal year 20, the last 2 or 3 months, our town administrator was able to freeze spending, not do any capital things, all those things. And that's how he realized his savings that kept our head above water. Now, with this budget, those things will not be available. The only thing that will be left to deal with anything will be whatever we don't use from the general fund reserve. So you have to put it in your heads, how much am I comfortable in having in that reserve or not?
Well, I mean, she said that Denise said between 1.6 and 1.8, and we're doing 1.5. So I don't see how that's,
Leaving 100,000 to 300,000 in the reserve.
yeah, I don't see how that's, and Denise is pretty aware of how the town works and what would be needed for another emergency, et cetera. So that's what Jen Jocelyn's saying, and I,
Okay. Okay. So is there any other discussion on the revenue estimates?
What would taking 1.4 million out versus 1.5?
That gives us 4.03%.
403.
Am I right,
So
Tom?
we have to look at 405, or we have to cut, or 1.5, or we have to cut something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't want to be hovering right at 4%. We want to get it below
So
just
some
one-
wanna-
amount.
I just want to make sure that number is that 1.5 is
Right. 1.4 isn't enough to keep below the 4% cap.
No, it isn't.
It's between 1.4 and 1.5
And-
gets us.
And the 1.5 gives us that little bit of a cushion, so when the final totals are done, we stay under that 4.
Exactly.
right.
Can
And
you
you,
hear me?
sorry.
Denise, who's Denise?
Denise DeMedeiros.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was Denise Surratt or Denise DeMedeiros.
I was just trying to find a way to give her an invite.
Yeah, D. Medeiros.
I did give her an invite.
She was looking for it. She just sent me an email looking for it.
I just sent it to her.
I sent it on August 2nd. If she's looking for it, I sent it on August 2nd.
Yeah,
Okay,
she
so-
doesn't need to, Chris, she just needs to be allowed in.
Do we know what the number would be to take it down, to take the fund down exactly to the 3%, what that number would be?
If you
go
do
one
that.
point- If you go to 1.8, what does it bring you down to?
If we use 1.8?
Yeah.
Well, hang on. $100,000 is 0.27%.
Right.
So do the math. If you want to take another 300,000 out, that would be not even 1%.
I get 2.94.
2.94.
Denise Surratt also said she had some adjustments. She had a $225 or $250,000 adjustment coming off that number.
That's why she gave us the range of 640 to 840.
Right, which is why I don't know if you want to get into the 8.
No,
I'm just gonna throw this out as 2 cents, and that's all it is. We're in trouble with the situation that we're in because we put in too much casino cash and that we included that in the revenue. So now if we throw too much of that general fund money in, we could end up in the same situation, next year. I think we should look at, we
Or
need to
even this
leave
year.
some form of cushion there.
You are going to create a problem because this money needs to be made up next year. We don't know if they'll have this much money in the general fund next year, but this is a structural deficit you're creating. But it is what it is right now. You got to use what's available, but
It's the only way to get where we're gonna get unless we're gonna go back and cut even more.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. It's unfortunately a necessary evil, but we want to make sure that we use a safe amount that gets us under the 4%, but that doesn't, create an even worse problem than what we have. It's a necessary evil, unfortunately.
Jay, did anyone make a motion yet to take the 1.5 million? Is that on the table?
I was going to do that directly.
Okay, could you do it?
Nope,
But I
I didn't
thought
yet, but I
Jennifer
will.
did
So I'm going to make a motion
I did.
Jen already made that
They
motion.
made the motion already.
for what amount?
1.5.
1.5, Jen.
It was Jennifer.
Oh, I was just going to go down. I was just going to go down to the total.
Janet.
Can I participate?
sure.
Sure, Denise.
1.5 brings us to what percentage of an increase?
3.77
It's too high, guys.
is what?
What's too high?
Said it's too
377?
high of a tax increase.
It's too high of a tax increase.
Well, then let there be a petition, Sherry. They're not going to, I'm going to fight it out here.
Tom,
Yeah,
Just my opinion.
just for argument, please put in 1.8 million, 1.8 general fund balance withdrawal.
Okay.
And tell us what that gives us for a tax rate.
Right, he said
All right.
294.
let me give you a couple numbers. All right, as far as the margin we're trying to get down, it's down to 2.94. It's down to 2.94.
Okay.
And what that delivers, the year-over-year average tax bill at a 2.06 increase.
Yeah, but we're only interested in really at this moment in
Right.
where we are at relative to the 4% cap. So
Yeah.
you said that gets us down to 2.94.
Correct.
And to do that, we leave ourselves absolutely zero money to use from the general fund without a declared emergency. And if, as Denise Surratt said, at the end, when it's all said and done, she needs $240,000 because that's why she gave us the range. It won't be there.
So let's go to, just for conversation's sake, go to 1.6, that leaves 200, right? 2.4, right? It leaves,
Yeah.
because she said she said we could use up to 1.84, right? So if we do 1.6, what does the tax rate become? And then we're still leaving.
It goes down 0.27%. So whatever.
3.49% is what I get.
Tom, we can't hear you, very muffled. Can you speak into
Really?
the speaker?
Yeah,
So
3.49%.
So that seems to be a middle ground.
Yeah.
Said 1.8 million taking out is 2.94%, right, Tom?
Right.
And then the 1.6 that Jen Jocelyn was asking about, what does that get us to?
That gets you to 3.49%.
Okay.
Okay, so
Can I speak again?
yes, Denise.
I know this is like really gambling here. And I know that we are deficit spending, but at this point, I don't know.
If no one's going to say anything, I just want to mention that, I mean, this COVID is.
Ruth, let Denise finish.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear anything.
I think it's a real challenge that we're doing this, and that next year we could be in trouble. But I think at this point, I think that. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
All right, I agree with you. It's total deficit spending, but we're in a very odd situation right now. And I think that if we increase the taxes to 3.9, I personally am not comfortable with that. And I don't know the rest of you are. 1.6%.
I cannot hear Denise, just letting you know.
Ruth.
Yep.
Were you going to say something?
I can't, if someone's talking, is Denise, you said Denise is going to be saying something? I can't hear anything.
Well, she stopped. I don't know what happened.
Okay, just mentioning, I mean,
hear me now,
this
Ruth?
COVID was declared by the town council as an emergency. I'm not saying we should do anything terribly different, but we should remember it was declared an emergency. So it's you take money for an emergency, you're going to have to think about the next emergency. But if it was a hurricane this time, we'd be in the same boat. It's always going to be another emergency possible. Hopefully not. But I'm just mentioning, we can't forget that this is actually an emergency and you can technically go below the 3%. I'm not suggesting doing it, but we're talking as if you can't. So just make sure you know, declared an emergency, just mentioning it.
Jennifer Joslin.
Oh, Jen Rashley was first.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jen.
I wanted to ask Chris Cotta what happens from the position of managing the town when there's so little left in the fund.
So all I can tell you is when I got here in April and we had a massive deficit that we were looking at, but for the fact that we had enough categories to actually pick and choose from, and each department made significant sacrifices, a lot of the things that we save money on are not in the budget. I won't have anything to draw on other than people. So it is what it is.
And then what kind of expenses weren't paid for this last year
so any of
that
our
we're going to be hit with next?
So any of our COVID related expenses, we will absorb those and file for a FEMA reimbursement, but that could take a couple of years to get. We are buying things to deal with, like sneeze guards and things like that for election purposes, or all of our PPE stuff. We do have, it's not a lot of money, and our overtime obviously that goes into any of this COVID related issues is being reimbursed. But and we're absorbing that within the budget until we get reimbursement from FEMA. The issue was it wasn't in FY20, wasn't that COVID crippled us, it was the gaming crippled us. Without that money coming in, we couldn't spend money on things that, you can't write checks if money's not coming in. So we had to curtail and stop all spending. So every department took a hit. Right down, from my office. I mean, we didn't spend a dime if we didn't have to. Now we can do that again, but it was a big nut to make up in 3 months. I don't know if I can do that again with what's left because we don't have anything to draw from. We didn't, we were fortunate that the council hadn't spent any of the capital monies or, they're pretty frugal as it is to start with. I mean, they don't have anything lavish or anything in this side of the budget that it's strictly just providing a service. It's, whatever we have is very, very little. I mean, we have, very few clerks in the office that deal with the whole litany of things that happen in the clerk's office. We have, a couple people downstairs in the treasurer's office that deal with all the bills that we get. We have a couple people in the tax collection office to deal with everybody's collection of taxes. Our building office is very small. Our public works department is rather small compared to what they do. I mean, our police and fire are. So if it was left, from.
If it was left to you, how much of the general reserve available balance would you think would be wise to apply?
I would probably go with $1.5 million to, I wouldn't go much more than that. And that's based on what the treasurer said, that she still had adjustments that need to be made between now and her close out of the books. And she named a couple of large ones that are potentials that she needs to deal with. So I wouldn't want to hamstring her. I will tell you, the closer you get to that 3%, and if you ever have to dip into it, you have to tax your way back out of it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When you have to get it back to 3%, you're going to be taxing people to bring it back.
It doesn't have to only come from tax money. It can come from other.
Hand up.
Okay, listen, show of hands, the next person that had their hand up was Jen Jocelyn.
So I want to make sure I understand, because it sounds like we're talking about, or that there's some kind of misunderstanding. If we draw down the general fund over what's over the 3%, that's making up the revenue that we lost from the casino to drive the tax rate down. If that's the 3% that we keep talking about, we would have to have an actual emergency, like a hurricane, a snowstorm, a tornado come, but we can't use any of that to make up for the revenue losses that we hit because of COVID. I mean, COVID's an emergency, but in reality, why we're in this situation was because the casino was affected by COVID, not because us as a town was affected by COVID. So we have to find a sensible amount to leave Denise and Chris some cushion, but there's no way we're going to get around a tax increase. Nobody likes the amount that it is. I mean, I wish we were at 1.9, but we can't get there unless we either go back to the drawing board and start laying off some more people, or we use this money.
Okay, Joe?
I think part of the problem, the casino money was spent. I mean, even though it went into the general fund, but our budget didn't pass last year either. So the budget that did pass added a lot to spending. So the only other thing, I'm going to bring it up again because we're fighting about dollars here. And I had suggested that we do not put the resolve on this year that restricts the industrial park money. And then we look at using that money in the budget this year. It was over $300,000 there. Now, you say, well, we'll have to make that up too. And we are going to have to make it up, because eventually we're going to have to move out of the dump. But I'll say it again, when we do close that dump, we're probably going to have to float a bond, and we could do it all in one shot then. So, I mean, we're going to have to, rethink the way we're doing things. But that's over $300,000 that's sitting there that could go in to help us this year. That's just my opinion.
Janet? You're muted, Deb.
Haley, can you tell us, if we do the 1.5, what is that tax increase?
3.77.
You mean in dollars or what's the
No, in
percent?
percentage, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
3.77.
3.77. Okay.
I'm going to make one last comment here quick, and then we're going to vote on this thing. Keep in mind that we have already, with the budget we just approved, made two very risky assumptions. We level funded trash, and we did away with the recycling center. Now, if the state falls on the wrong side of what we want, that will be a problem. Okay, so.
Jay, I have a frozen screen. That's why I can't put my hand up.
Well, yeah, what happened to your video?
Everybody I'm seeing is frozen though. I don't know what you're seeing. So
Oh, okay.
Hey, Ruth, I think if you sign out and back in, you'll get restored. That's probably why you couldn't hear Denise, because she joined the
Like
meeting
reboot?
after you
yeah,
got.
well, I'm gonna do that later. I know I can do that. I just don't want to do it right this second.
All right.
About what Jen Jocelyn said about emergencies, this is an emergency. The town council declared it as such. So you can't say that that the casino and the COVID is not part of the emergency. It is an emergency. It's been declared. So this can go, you can use below the 3%. I'm not saying we want to, but don't go around saying this is not an emergency. That's just incorrect.
All right.
So just be clear on that. And as far as other spending, I think we just need to be really careful. And I think next year, I think we will be able to come back. I think that's possible. And I think that we've done really well actually in picking and choosing everything that we need to. So that's all I had to say.
Okay, now I've totally lost the ball here. Have we made a motion on the amount to withdraw the general fund?
Yeah, Jen Jocelyn has a motion of 1.5 million.
And did we get a second?
Deb Janik.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Deb Janik already seconded it.
Okay. Thank
Hey,
you,
Jay.
Nancy.
Jay, hey, Jay, two quick things before you go.
Yep.
Sherry and Joe have their hands up, and you have someone in the waiting room wanting to come into the meeting. If you see it,
How do I do the waiting room?
Gary Larkin, hang on.
Chris can do it. All right, but Joe and Sherry have their hands up. Jay.
I'll wait for Jerry. Let's hear what Jerry has to say.
He's here.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, Jerry, you there?
Yep. Sorry, I missed the early part of the meeting. Did you guys actually vote on the school or not?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So it's probably, yeah, okay. I'm not sure I want to take up too much, or I don't want to take up too much of your time. The issue is going to be actually when then you guys voted what, the state aid and $1 or level funded us essentially?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So two quick things. One is I'm speaking on behalf of myself, not the school committee. I'm not authorized to speak tonight. But the second is the school committee is seeking clarification from the town solicitor regarding submission of an optional budget as provided by the charter. When I read the relevant sections of the charter tonight, and you guys might want to look at this, the implication is that the financial town referendum happens 63 days after the town and the school submit their budget. Now, what it says is that because the whole calendar is pretty rigid, as you know, and predicated on the financial town referendum occurring in May, but if that does not occur in May, then it sort of sets everything off. And it would seem that if we had submitted a final number, then you guys voted on a final number and then modified that, given that the financial town referendum did not occur in May, that the town or the school committee and the town, if it chooses to, should have the option of submitting a revised number for the financial town referendum, and that the financial town referendum may not be able to occur until 63 days after either of those bodies has an opportunity to do that. I know it's kind of a crazy sideways thing to throw at you right now, but when you look at the charter, because it is so rigid, I just thought I should bring that up.
Where are you getting 63 days?
So basically, the schools have to submit a final number to you guys 63 days before the third Saturday in May, right?
Which you did.
Which we did, okay? But again, the entire calendar derives from that date. If the financial town referendum does not occur, then it would seem that the municipal and school side both should have an option to revise their number. And the reason why we bring that up is because a prior solicitor had thrown out our efforts to do that based on what he called the plain language reading of the charter. And so the plain language reading of the charter would indicate that the budget, if we have to submit a budget 63 days before the financial town referendum, it would also seem that the financial town referendum can't occur until we've had an opportunity to submit a final budget, which our final budget is probably obviated, or at least you could make an argument by the fact that the financial town referendum never occurred on that day, 63 days after our initial submission.
Okay. Well, what I've been doing is, just for I don't know. The town council adopted an option which allowed them to continue to tax at the fiscal year 20 rate for the first quarter of 21, which takes us to October 1st. And we need to have a budget by then. The nearest Saturday to that date was September 26th. And then if you look at the charter, and if you start marching backwards, 44 days prior to the FDR, we have to submit the budget to the town clerk. Now, after that, two things happen. One is that the town, and the other is that the schools can submit their own, a new budget, an optional budget, and a petitioner can, submit a petitioner's budget. So within the town charter framework, those things can and probably still will occur.
Yes, but the issue is, what can the number be? And I guess if I was going to make any point, it's that we have contractual obligations of about $1 million that there's no way we can get out of. Level funding means $1 million worth of teacher salaries. Straightforward. And the proposed budget to you was about a 4% increase. Then you gave us a 2% increase. If you were able to cover that $1 million in contractual obligations, my personal opinion, it is less likely that the school committee would have to try and actualize that section of the charter. It's 301B. And again, trying to do that through a petitioner's budget opens us up to challenge, which is exactly what happened 3 years ago, I think. A little famous legal case called Larkin versus Tiverton, or Tiverton versus Larkin.
2011?
Tiverton. It's 301B. So, just to try and not muck up the calendar, I think you have to sort of take into consideration the fact that that 63 days can kind of work both ways. At least there can be an argument. And we haven't been able to get a clear answer on that.
Well, the problem we have now is, and if you've been listening, we're having a hard enough time trying to find $100,000, much less $1 million. And the budget committee does not have the authority to spend below the 3%. That's a town council function. We can't even consider it. The best we can do is take it right down to the bare 3% minimum.
Right.
And that wouldn't be smart. So All right, so where were we? We were at, there was a motion and a second to increase the general fund balance withdrawal to $1.5 million. Is that, does everybody agree with that's what we had a motion and a second for?
Yes.
Okay,
Can-
we've had the
Can I
discussion.
still amend that, Jay?
You can. Who made the motion?
I did.
I guess you can amend your own motion, yeah.
Can I amend it to go to the 1.6?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to amend the general fund balance withdrawal to $1.6 million. Any further discussion on that?
What is that percentage?
3.49.
Right.
Okay. We'll take a vote, roll call vote. Sherry
Is there
Aker.
discussion on that?
What?
Is there discussion on that amendment to bring it up?
You're breaking up, Jennifer.
Is there discussion on the amendment?
I just asked for discussion on the amendment.
Oh, I thought you asked for a vote.
No, I did. After nobody raised their hand, I
Oh,
asked
I
for a
was
vote.
raising my hand. Maybe the frame froze.
So you want to discuss it?
Yeah, Jen
What?
Jocelyn, what is your reason for moving it from 1.5 to 1.6?
Trying to find a middle ground where the tax rate, I don't think it's safe to go to the 1.8. Let me just start off by, we get to a lower tax rate, but I think that creates a huge security issue for us if anything goes wrong. I think by increasing it, that $100,000, we get to a fairer tax rate to people in the pandemic situation, where 3.77 is still a little high. We get to 3.49. It just seems to me to be a fairer ground to be in, where the taxpayer is not hit so much and we still have a little bit of a cushion. That's kind of just my thought.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All right, so we're voting on the amended amount of $1.6 million from the general fund balance to be included in revenue. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a no. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom,
Can you hear me? Yes.
okay. Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Jen, Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jen Joslin,
Yes.
Brendan McNally,
No.
Jennifer Rashley,
No.
Joe Souza.
No.
Well, the yes have it, so we are going to, it's been approved to take $1.6 million out of the general fund balance as part of revenue. So Tom, what does that give us?
Again, for the,
So the new revenue total will become 14507,997?
correct.
Okay, so let's.
Read that one more time.
14507,997. Okay, and if everybody's amenable, let's vote on, well, I'll make a motion for the total non-property tax revenue from the August 10th budget revenue document as amended in the amount of 14507 997. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion on revenue? Okay. Roll call vote. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a no. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
Jennifer Jasmine,
Yes.
Brendan McNally,
No.
Jennifer Ashley,
No.
Joe Souza.
No.
I'm voting with Joe. All right, the yeas have it. The total non-property tax revenue will be 14507,997. Tom, can you inject that into the worksheet, please?
Done.
Okay,
And Jay, that was 3.49. Is that what we said?
Yep.
Correct.
yeah,
Or Tom, sorry, 3.49.
I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so now you should be able to you should be looking at the tax levy worksheet or the one that says to determine the proposed tax rate on real and intangible property.
I'll flash it in front of you if you want. Can you see it?
No.
No. All right, let's see.
I gotta find my other piece of brains here.
How about that? Oh, sorry.
Oh, crap. Oh. Okay, so have you made the appropriate changes yet?
Yes, I have. Can you see them? I mean, you see the 3.49.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, got it.
Yeah, so.
All right, so everybody sees that we're going to have, with what we have here, we'll have a 3.49% increase over fiscal year 20. And the average residential tax bill increase will be 2.6%.
What?
And the average increase will be $126?
Tom,
Yes.
can you verify?
Yes, right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. You just raised it up. Okay.
That's on, is that on the $300,000 home?
306. Yep.
306, yeah.
Yes,
306.
tax assumption, yes.
Oh, I see it now. Sorry about that. Thank you.
That's per thousand, right?
Per thousand. Last year it was $15.79, so it went up 41 cents per thousand. Everybody had time to digest this? Okay, I guess we'll make a motion to accept and approve the fiscal year 21 tax levy that Tom just presented. which gives us Tom, can you rattle this off starting at the top? Because I don't have your sheet in front of me anymore.
The tax levy worksheet? What are you after?
No, to determine the proposed tax rate on real and tangible property, the final document.
Yeah. What number? Again, I'll share it again. Let's see.
Okay. I can read it off if I can see it. Okay, you need to,
$1 more.
that's the worksheet, right?
That's the worksheet. Yep.
All right, well, that'll work.
I have a question. It still
What?
says the 1 point, is that supposed to still say, oh, that's motor vehicle taxes, the 1.3?
Right.
1.3, we hope we actually get it all. Oh, bouncing all over.
Making it bigger for you, Jay, so you don't have to squint.
Well, no, but I'm getting whiplash. All right, so our final grand total fiscal year 21 total, all proposed expenses, 53,550,839. And from that, we subtract the property tax revenue, which we just approved, which is 14507,997. Is that correct? That makes the tax levy or the budget levy 39,042,482. Out of that, we subtract the motor vehicle taxes for fiscal year 21, which did not change from last year. That's 1,300,000. That gives us a new fiscal year tax levy total anyway of 3,742,842. The number below that is, yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think this is an important point. Otherwise, we might have to really redo everything. To level fund, you have to add $1,
We did.
right?
Well, okay.
So I don't think we added it. We added the 236,519
For the school.
to the school number. We added the 236,519, which was the state dollars, the state aid.
All right, that's a good point. So
And we
let's
added-
add $1 to the school.
We added that to 31,890,000, but we didn't add the dollar. And otherwise, it makes this voting, we'd have to do it all over again.
Right.
So that should become 32126,520, correct?
Oh, yeah, but we need to re-vote on that, right? Because did we not vote on the right number? Do we have to open that back up and vote on that?
We do.
We have to open that back up. Someone has to make a motion on that. Jennifer can do it if she'd like. And then we have to second it, and then we have to vote on that. Then we can change it.
Want to make a motion, Jen?
I don't want to make a motion because I don't want to vote for that amount.
I'll make a motion.
You don't have to vote for it, Jen. You
Total
can
school
make a motion.
expenses to 32126,520.
I'll second that motion.
We have a second. I think the discussion has already been done. Can we vote? Sherry Aker?
No.
Sherry Akers, no.
But didn't you say yes last time, Sherry? What's going on?
No,
No,
said,
she didn't.
no, I
Okay.
did not.
Mike Dakotas?
No.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach?
Yes.
Deb Janik?
Yes.
Jen Joslin?
No.
Brenda McNally?
Yes.
Jennifer Ashley?
No,
Joe Souza?
Oh.
Okay, it's 6-5 like it was last time in favor. So now we need to change. We need to change the grand total.
There it is. Yep.
So the grand total then will become, after we vote on it, 353, 552, 839, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we increase the grand total fiscal year 21, all proposed expenses to 53.
Wait a minute, you're adding $1, right? $1?
Yes, yes, we are.
Can you give me the former number and the new number, Jay, please?
The old
Without the dollar and with the dollar. Thanks, just for my clarity, thanks.
553 or 53552,838. Add $1 to it.
Oh,
53552,839.
That's not what I get.
No, because we took the 2,000 out of the library.
Tom, can you please read it?
We only took 1,999 out of the library because we had to give them $1 more. Everybody thought so.
Right.
So we should be $2,000 less than the original amount.
No,
when we give the $1 to the school and the $1 to the library, then it should be it'll end up being 2,000.
Tom, please.
Oh, I'm looking at the unamended page. Tom, what's the new number?
Tom.
The new number should be 53550.
Let Tom do it, please. 5355 what?
0840.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, my mistake. Okay, so I'll make a motion for the new grant, I want to call it the right thing. Grand total general fund expenses to become 53550,840.
Second.
We have a second. I think we've had the discussion. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley,
Yes.
Tom Hamilton,
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbach,
Yes.
Deb Janik,
Yes.
no?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard somebody say no. Jem Joslin,
No.
Brendan McNally,
Yes.
Jennifer Rashley,
No.
Joe Souza.
No.
Okay, the vote is 8-3 in favor of the new grand total 53550,840. So have you incorporated that, Tom? Yes, you have.
Yes, I have.
So where were we? We did motor vehicle taxes. The new fiscal year 21 tax levy will be, or RETTP levy will be 37742,843. From that, we do the math and we arrive at a 3.3 decrease from fiscal year 20. Then we add in the abatements in the amount of $20,000. That gives us a new fiscal year 21 TTP levy with abatements of 37762,843 with a tax levy of 3.49 increase. And if you follow that down, That gives us a new tax rate proposed of $16.20 per thousand. And on a $306,000 house, Tom, can you scroll down a little bit?
Yep.
That gives us an increased tax of $126 for the year. Okay. Does anybody disagree with this, what this says? Okay.
Now, what we've done in years past is submitted this version, which is a
Yes.
reduced detail version.
But Brendan tells me that he also, when he did this, that he also submitted the worksheet.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So
I'll just submit them both.
I'll submit them both. I'll submit them both.
And the one they don't want, they'll throw away.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so are we comfortable with voting on this? Do we have any discussion on it? Okay, let's take a vote.
What are you voting on, please? Just for the minute.
We're voting on the, what do we call this document? Proposed tax rate and on real and tangible property for fiscal year 21.
This worksheet, is that what you're voting on, a worksheet?
Well, it's not the worksheet, it's what, it's the one that's attached to the docket.
Do we have to vote on it? Because it just has numbers on it that we already voted on.
Brendan, we voted on this before?
You know what? I don't know. This has all the raw data that goes to Nancy.
Yeah.
Right, but it's no different on what we've already voted on.
I don't think this is the charge of the budget committee, this particular document to vote
All right.
on.
You can, it's not
You
gonna
can
hurt
vote
it.
if you want.
We at least need a vote to move everything forward.
Yep.
So we should just vote.
It's a summary of what we've all voted, what we voted to date.
Right.
So is that what we're voting on then, a final approval of the whole package? Well, we haven't done the resolutions yet, though.
Correct.
The whole budget package.
All right, so let's not vote on this at this time. Let's give we got a couple of things to deal with resolutions. I sent everybody a copy of the one that Nancy Mello is interested in, which essentially is asking that we, well, let me get to it. The way it is now, if the electors at this financial town referendum appropriate a sum for municipal operations and capital expenses that includes an amount to fund the elections account, that amount shall be placed in the restricted elections reserve account to be used solely for the purpose of funding future elections and financial town referendum runoffs if necessary, and funds remaining in this account at the end of June 30th, 2020, right? Shall be carried, no, 21, shall be carried, 20, shall be carried over into the same account for fiscal year 20.
21.
That's not right. June 30th, 20 shall be carried over into the same account for fiscal year 2021. And the amendment to this would be, what do I do with it? I don't know what I did with it. It would amend it slightly so that the, does anybody have it in front of them?
I do.
Nancy?
The only amendment to it is that it would add, and where it says, and financial town referendum budget runoff, it would add budget shortfall or runoff if necessary. So it's just adding the word shortfall as well as runoff, just in case. I'm not sure that they even would be a shortfall. However, if I ended up having to say, send out mail ballots to everybody, there'd definitely be a shortfall. So it all depends on where the situation is when we have the FTR. And I actually don't even mind if we add to that on the shortfall for the year, fiscal year 2021 only. Because I'm just worried about this year.
So
Actually, it's fiscal year 20.
Well, it's 2021. It's this, yeah, this fiscal year.
you know, I sent everybody a copy of this. And now I've totally misplaced mine.
In your email.
I'm sorry?
Look in your email.
Well, can I do that from here?
Yeah, go to another window in your internet and just go into your email.
What do I do? Exit full screen and
Just randomize.
You just make it small, a little smaller, and you can find what you need, I believe.
oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at your taskbar, Jay.
No, I'm there. Hang on. Nancy me. Here it is. Okay, so now I'm looking at it. Now, how do I get everybody else to see this thing?
Tom, can you guide him to share the screen?
You have to open it first and then share.
I'm open. I'm looking at it.
And share screen.
I don't have it.
In the bottom of the screen, Jay, that should say share screen in a green button.
Well, yeah.
Try it.
It's short. You probably have to read it.
You could just read it like. Yeah.
So then do I hit share?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yep.
Oh, you're going to drag me kicking and screaming into technology here. This is what Nancy sent me.
Yay, Jay.
Don't get too excited yet. I could still screw this up. All right. So you see what, basically the differences on this. And we need to put a drop dead date on this, right?
Well, I'm looking at the docket for last year that the budget committee did, and they did not put the extension on the June 30th that it rolls over on this.
No, but what happened was the town council did, and that was the one that passed.
Yeah. No.
We've never done that, but when you do that, it just guarantees that it's only for 1 year and we would have to do a renewal the next year.
Well, if you remember, a lot of the town council resolutions from last year, the only real difference between us and them was they put dates.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's the ones that passed. So based on that, do we need to continue that tradition? I don't think the town council's putting in any resolution as far as I know.
Well, they actually approved this
This
resolution.
one, yeah.
Yeah, but this will become ours, won't it?
So under, we had it in both places last year. So when it's in two places, I had to take only one to certify. So we took the town councils because it extended it and it gave a date certain at the end. So I could put this as town council and add a date certain at the end to it. Or
Does everybody Do we
Yeah.
want to do that, or is everybody in agreement to do that?
I think
Yeah.
that when you put the date, then people understand that this is for a year.
Okay.
And
know,
since
we
the town
always-
council approved it, the budget committee may not need to put this in on their part, although it keeps consistency if you put it under the budget committee part. So I guess it's up to the budget committee what they want to do with it. But
Well,
I
we
would
just-
add the year end, the date on it, June 30th, 2000, I guess.
21.
Yeah, and we can just adopt this and it becomes our own, right?
Right.
Okay, so does everybody understand what this is what this is for? Why, the whys and wherefores? Is there any discussion on it? Can we vote on it then?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sherry Aker,
Could you vote on it as amended with the date added?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay,
what I
I'm
was just
sorry.
going to say.
We need a motion.
so to accept this resolution as amended, which will be the expiration date.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Sherry Aker,
Yes.
Mike Dakotas,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Tom Haley? Tom?
Yes.
Tom Hamilton?
Yes.
Ruth Hollenbeck?
Yes.
Deb Janik?
Yes.
Ed Joslin?
Yes.
Brendan McNally?
Yes.
Jennifer Rashley?
Yes.
Joe Souza?
Yes.
Okay, now if everybody has copies of the existing resolutions and our meeting of May 4th, during which we discussed and voted on a lot of these, hang on a minute, I'm reading.
Jay, we're just looking at the budget committee ones, right?
Yeah, my only concern about it was after I went back and looked at them again, the big difference, like I said, the big difference between the town council resolutions and ours, and the town council resolutions mostly passed, was that they had dates.
Well, and on the budget committee side, we didn't allot any capital for the schools, so we could eliminate 8.
Well, we did. We gave them $1, so.
That wasn't capital though, that was budget.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. 8.
We need to vote to not put that on or just not?
No, I just brought it up as a topic. We would have to make a motion to include it. I'm just saying we don't need it anymore because there was no capital allotted.
Okay, on May 4th, Resolution 8, which dealt with school department capital, Sherry Aker made a motion to remove Resolve 8. Deb Janik seconded it. The motion passed 8-1-1. Joe Souza was opposed. Tom Hamilton was so upset he left the room.
No.
Okay, so that was already dealt with in the way you're talking about.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't have my notes on it for what we voted for.
No
before.
problem. That's why I'm glad I'm looking at May 4th. Okay, Joe has brought up several times about the industrial park. If you recall, though, when we had this discussion previously with Denise Surratt, she indicated that those funds that were currently in that account would not be affected by a new resolution.
Well, we had a legal opinion on that said different. That we
Who
had
gave
to
us the
review.
legal opinion?
It was a couple years ago. It was something to do with what Cats had done, but you have to have you have to renew the resolve each year or the funds become unrestricted.
That is true.
That's why we put the resolve on every year. So if that resolve does not go on this year, those funds would be in the unrestricted
Hello?
general fund.
Oh, you don't want to, hang on. I gotta find a way to mute myself.
Jay,
Wait a minute. Let me, how do I get rid of this document?
Go back to screen share and
Hang on.
unshare.
Oh,
There you
hang
go.
on.
You
Maybe
did it.
somebody just did it for me. All right, so who's talking?
Jay, it's Denise.
Denise DiMaderos, Town Council.
I don't agree with Joe.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah,
All right, I don't agree with Joe. The money that's in there now is restricted per resolution.
yeah.
By
So you're
resolve
gonna
annually.
Right, but it would mean the current money that's gonna be
No,
put in
no,
there.
no,
not
no,
what's
no.
already in there.
No.
Joe.
That money has to be restricted each year by resolve. Those resolves only last for one fiscal year.
Right, but we restricted those money per resolve. I
Yeah,
think we
and
need a
again, we
legal-
would do it this year if we, those, no. You have to redo this resolves each year or the money is not restricted. Same thing with the landfill money.
Okay, are you listening to me for just 1 second?
Why do we have to redo the resolve for the landfill every single year then?
Well, because you have to do it yearly to get the next amount of money in there. But the amount of money that's
wait a
in
minute.
there has already been restricted per
That is not the
resolution.
proper interpretation. That is not the proper interpretation. You just don't want that money to move. That's all there is to it. That money is available to the taxpayers by just not putting the resolve on.
That money is available to the taxpayers so that we can do the recycle center.
We don't need to do that. We don't need to do the resolves.
In June,
And then if we do close the landfill, we're gonna have to float a bond, which means we're gonna have to go out to bid, get a price, then we're gonna have to have a vote on the bond.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, in
I'm
the
just
meantime,
trying to explain it. I'm not
going
screaming. I'm talking at a normal voice. I'm not
All
screaming.
right. All right. So I'm not going to argue this point. I
No,
think we
let's
need
not
a
argue.
legal-
Arguing
we
the
need a
point
legal-
is fruitless.
Right. So I think we need a legal opinion on this. And that's all I have to say.
Well, in that we have
Oh,
already,
we had one from DeSisto already.
in that, well, DeSisto's no longer here.
Well,
In that
we
we
did have
have
an opinion.
already voted on this. We don't need to do it again. The other thing that came up was Resolution 5.
So Jay, we're gonna stick to the original votes from back in May. We're not gonna revote these, correct?
Unless anybody wants to make a motion and sees a point in it, no.
But what's the protocol on that? Doesn't somebody that voted no on it have to reopen or voted yes on it have to reopen it? Isn't there a Roberts rule on this? And I don't know which way it goes. In order
Somebody
to
that
reopen
voted,
a
I
vote-
believe somebody that voted yes, correct?
Yes.
Nancy? Yeah.
So let's find that out. I mean, instead of going through them, is
I
there
can
any
tell
that
you who
anybody-
voted yes.
No,
Is there
somebody
any
voted
that
in the
anybody
majority.
wants reopened?
Well, I
Oh,
think,
no, I can't.
can I speak?
Yeah.
I think, for the most part, we don't want to resolve that money stays into accounts if it's not used, but that it all goes to the general fund this year, so that the town council can do whatever they need to do with whatever issue pops up, because everything is so underfunded. So if it needs to be drainage or, so I think we need to undo a bunch of these and let everything go to the general fund.
The only thing with that, Jen, though, is that you have to think like it's not gonna go in this fiscal year. It would go in June of 2021, right? So after everything is spent in the budget that we just voted on, everything that's left over would then float into the general fund in June, if we didn't vote for these to restrict it, in June 30th, 2021. So it's not like they can use it during this fiscal year if they run a shortage. So if you had $25,000 left in paving at the end of the fiscal year that we're gonna vote on, it would go into the general, if we didn't restrict it, it would go into the general fund on June 30th, 2021. It's not like they can tap it during this fiscal year for a shortfall that we, like if we, you know.
You're saying if 90% of the year is has passed and they've only spent 50% of their budget and they have 50% left, but only 10% of the time left, you still can't touch the money until next year.
Not all the accounts, just some of them.
Just anything that was going into a restricted account would be whatever's left over.
Not election accounts and not the industrial park. That money's,
right.
If we didn't put the resolve in, that money would be available in the next quarter.
Okay.
After the FCR.
So let's make an, you got the entire budget, and then at the end of the year, after the budget has been balanced, there's a certain amount of money left over.
Yep.
And what two of these resolutions do is it defines that 25% of that remaining amount will go into capital, and 25% of that remaining amount will go into the general fund. Well, not the general fund, paving.
And the rest goes in general.
And then the 50% will go into the general fund, with one exception. Anything that's left over in public works goes to paving.
Paving. Okay.
So,
but during the course of the year, unless it's an absolutely restricted account, the department heads, with the approval and complicity of the town council, can move money around anywhere they need to adjust whatever.
Okay.
What we really want to kind of think about when we're talking about that is too, now we just took 1.6 million out of the general fund. If there is anything left over, why we should decide on these resolutions is because if we didn't pass these resolutions the way they're written, instead of going to the restricted account, they would go into the general fund and replenish some of that overage that we just used. So I think that's really kind of what we're talking about, is whether we want to put that back in to try to rebuild that so we're further over the 3%, or whether we want to continue to restrict it so that we have money in these accounts to do those paving and drainage and all those types of things. That's really, I think, the decision that we're trying to make.
So the decision is really, do we want to have the 25% go to capital and 25% go paving? Or do we want to remove those and have 100% go in the general fund?
Is Chris still on the call?
And keep in mind too, that we do have a balance in those restricted funds now. So there is money in there now. I think it was for paving and drainage, it was like just over 500,000.
That's right.
Is Chris still here? Does Chris have an opinion?
Muted.
Or
Chris, are you still, Chris Cotter, you still got your ears on? I think he left us in disgust.
Or is he in the waiting room? He can't get back in?
I don't. Well, he's the host.
Oh.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
It's Denise. So if Joe's theory is right though, Deb, then the paving account would be unrestricted again. And so what he's saying is the monies that's there will no longer be used for paving. If his theory is right with the recyclable, with the industrial park, then you have to put it right away across the board. I don't agree with him, but keep in mind that's what he's saying.
I get that, Denise, but the thing is, the voters voted for that. They voted for these resolutions, so they voted to restrict that money into that account. So it's sitting in that account. And so if we don't put any more in that account because we take that resolve away, I really think that money has already been voted by the voters in past years. And will be sitting in that account for the paving and, you know, the.
Right. So, you agree with me, Deb?
I just
that
have a
whatever
question.
money- Well, so Deb, you agree with me that whatever was voted to restrict that money last year is
All right.
still there, and it doesn't change.
But it's in
Yes.
so at the end of the year, whenever was left, it got deposited into a restricted account. Like, once it's in the restricted account, we can't vote to take it out. It's there,
Right,
the
but
account
that's not
itself
what
is
Joe
still
is-
restricted, right?
Right, but that's not what Joe is arguing
Oh.
with me.
Okay.
That's not what Joe is saying.
Okay,
Because if he
Denise.
says it, okay, you
It's
get it.
restricted by annual resolve. Every year we
The
vote to
deposit is.
continue to restrict it.
What
The
do we,
Every year.
deposit is.
It's the account. We vote to restrict all of the dollars in the account. It doesn't matter if it came in 5 years ago. We restrict that account number.
Right, so it's still
It's
there.
that
yes.
specific account. Therefore, if you don't pass the resolve annually, it becomes unrestricted.
that's not,
That's the law, regardless
That's
of how
not
they
true.
want to twist it.
that's not true, Joe.
That's
Well,
not
you
true,
might
Joe.
say that, but that we had an opinion that said that
Well,
by
we
the
didn't.
Okay,
previous
so
solicitor.
listen, all we're doing is arguing in circles here. So we have already passed these once. Does anybody want to make a motion to revisit any one of them?
No.
I'm not asking for a vote. I'm just asking if somebody wants to change one of these resolutions, we need a motion. Okay, there are no motions. So the only thing that we have changed is the elections account in accordance with Nancy presented. We'll stick with the May 4th minutes, in which we have already gone through all these once and voted upon them. Okay, so we're almost there.
Yeah, I just have a question, please.
Yes, Nancy.
I wasn't in with your May meeting, and I don't have your minutes in front of me, but at least for the public, could you tell me if the pay-as-you-throw was restricted on that date? The money, it was?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I don't have, I want to make sure I'm following you and I don't have that in front of me. Thank you.
Okay, now we need to have a discussion and vote on authorizing me to submit the revenue estimates, the budget docket, the resolutions, tax levy, and the tax levy worksheet to the town clerk no later than August 13th, 2020.
Hey, Jay, I just wanted to go back to Nancy's point. Nancy, the answer is no. Actually, the budget committee did not vote a resolve on the pay-as-you-throw. The town council did last year.
Last year, but we passed it this year in May.
We passed, I'll tell you what we did.
We amended the dates and we passed it this year.
I stand corrected. Thank you. We did 10-0 the vote.
Yeah, 10-0.
so what other town council resolutions were passed as well?
Well, the others are the same.
Right.
All the others are the same.
It's
Yep.
just
So the number 2 on last year's, you were already approved.
Yes.
Pay as you throw, yes.
You're saying 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were duplicates that were already on yours?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah, what happened last year, Chris, is the town council duplicated a lot of ours and we duplicated a lot of theirs, but the big difference between them was ours did not have like drop dead dates on them and theirs did.
I don't see the one about the industrial park is why I'm asking.
Well, let me find the right one. Okay, that's Town Council Resolution number 1. Where is? There we go.
Maybe we did pass all those.
No, I
No.
think we reviewed it and decided not to include it as one of our own.
That's what I was just wondering, because I thought we decided not to put that as one of ours.
Well, then that means it dies.
Well, it just means we don't put it forward, but it means that the town council
Can
if
put
they-
it forward.
If they wanted to, they can.
Okay.
I think we
And if they,
focused on our,
and if they don't,
we focused on our own from last year.
all right. Well, just be aware then that if the town council also does not submit this for voter approval, then it won't happen.
Thank God.
Attaboy, Joe.
That's what he wants.
Okay, so okay, so I made a motion that you authorize me to submit these things to the town clerk no later than August 13th, 2020. And in fact, I'll probably do it tomorrow or the day after. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. I don't think it requires discussion, does it? Okay, show of hands, all those in favor?
I'm in favor. I just can't put my hand up, Jay.
Okay. Joe, is it okay if I do that? Thank you. Okay, next thing we have is the minutes, which I sent everybody for our July 9th and July 16th meetings. So if you glanced over them, does anybody have any problems with July 9th? No? Okay, all those in favor?
We need a motion.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion to approve the July 9th Budget Committee special meeting.
Second.
Have a second? We'll do a show of hands. All those in favor? Ruth?
Yes, I'm favor, and yes.
Okay. July 16th, Budget Committee special meeting minutes.
Motion to approve July 16th minutes.
We have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Again, show of hands, all in favor?
And yes for me.
And Ruth is in the affirmative. Okay, so now administrative items, as I've been saying for a long time now. The FTR will be on the 26th of September. The hearing is normally on the Saturday before,
Thursday before.
or Thursday before, I'm sorry.
Before.
And we'll see what kind of problems Nancy Mello runs into with all this.
Looks like September 10th on Thursday.
Okay, September 10th.
Whoa, whoa.
And in that time, petitioners, the town council, and the school committee all have their shot at submitting either optional or petitioners' budgets. We'll see how that turns out.
Do we know how the hearing is going to be held this year? Is it going to be over Zoom? Are you going to submit questions?
Zoom, right now.
Nancy? No.
I mean, I haven't come because I wasn't quite sure when the budget committee was going to finish and turn it into me. So I kind of been waiting. We may have to do it by Zoom, Or we may be able to do it in the school auditorium. I don't know. We'll work on it though. Probably
I can tell you that Little Compton,
later.
Little Compton successfully did theirs, but that's Little Compton.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
a-
but because she just changed it to 50, no, social gatherings, no more than 15. Like so I didn't
Yeah.
know how that would.
It's going to be a long, slow process, no matter how it's done. So I will tell you then, we will have minutes to approve at that time, and that's, according to Brenda, that's normally when they're done. So I'll make sure what we've done so far gets distributed, and we can take it for action then. Nancy, were you going to say something?
No, no, that's fine. So I'm going to try to start going on that as soon as I can. I'll let the budget committee know as soon as I kind of figure out where we're going. I'm not even sure how I'll hold the FTR, so that's why I needed the extra money. But, I'm going to get right on it. Not to worry. We'll
So the social distancing issue of 15 is for individuals that pre-planned events like this can be up to 125.
Could we just say it was a wedding?
Pre-planned events can be up to 125.
I might have to submit a plan or something, but it's really not. We've never had more than 30, 40 people there, and I think the auditorium may be able to handle it, but who knows who would show up. It's going to all be driven by any optional budgets put in. So, I'm going to have to plan it as it goes along.
And this year, maybe people won't have anything better to do, so they'll actually show up.
So technically, though, there's no votes at a public hearing.
No.
No,
We present our budget,
the
petitioners, optionals get presented.
So it's just information.
Yep.
Just information. The ballot will already be printed by then.
Well, the only vote would be what, the minutes, right? Whatever.
Yeah,
minutes
we ourselves, either slightly before the meeting or at the end of the hearing, we'll just do a little session and we'll approve the minutes.
So I'm saying that's the only voting.
And then Joe will tell us what bar we're all going to meet at because he's buying.
You're on.
All right, guys, it's been one hell of a year. I feel sorry for Tom Hamilton because he thought this was going to be like a 2-week gig, and 5 months later, here he still is.
So who are we saying goodbye to? We're saying goodbye to Jen and Brendan.
Well, you're
and
definitely
we're
saying goodbye to me, Brendan.
To Tom and Jay and Ruth.
Mike.
And am I missing anybody?
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Mike's already elected to the school committee. He just needs to know how many votes he actually got.
Just need one.
So I will say this, and I want to thank you guys for all your support and your tolerance.
Sorry, Jay, did I interrupt you?
No.
I want to thank you, Jay. You've done an excellent job. This is such a bear to wrestle to begin with. And I think this is the 4th time we've come together to go over everything. I applaud you.
Yep.
Outstanding, keeping it all together, keeping everyone informed, and keeping up more than anyone. You've been abreast of what's going on with the school committee and the town council, and I really appreciate it.
Hear, hear.
Well, I hope I didn't bore everybody with all the stuff I sent them, because I have a tendency to give us too much information.
Very, very helpful.
It was very
Yeah.
helpful. Jen.
I second that. I want to say thank you to Tom Haley for doing the tracker, which is a very important part of our job. It makes it a lot easier. So thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome. By the
I
way,
couldn't have done it.
by the way, I just sent out copies, PDF copies of the 2 documents we approved. Just
Great,
now.
thank you.
And,
Tom, it was worth it to have you, even though you couldn't control your heavy breathing.
just when my mic failed too. So Nancy, I didn't include you on copy because it could be confusing. Jay is supposed to give you official copies, So I didn't give you a copy because just too
Would
much
you
stuff.
just send me your worksheet though?
Oh, will do. Okay.
And Nancy, what happens with the worksheet?
Well, I'm looking at the last year's docket and I guess I have, let me see if I included it. Yeah, I pretty much ignored it.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't put it in the budget. It's your worksheet. And
I know.
I think we said at a prior year that it tends to sometimes confuse people because they don't quite understand how it's getting down. I know it's supposed to be there for clarification, but if you want it in there, this is the budget committee's docket, not mine. So
We don't want to confuse people.
all you got to do is say, put it in, and it's going to be on the back pages. Because what we do include is the revenue, which we never used to include that, and we do, and people seem to be happy enough with that. So if you want it in, it's your docket. I will put it in.
So you get 4 documents: the budget, the resolutions, the revenue, and the final tax levy calculation.
Said we did put it in last year.
No, I don't know why. I have to take my direction from you since it's your docket. So
I don't think if we didn't put it in last year, there's no need to do it this year.
I think we might have put it at the hearing as a separate page.
It varies from year to year.
Wanted to.
It used to be in a long time ago. I think it's useful.
I used to put it in years ago.
Let's put it in.
Yeah.
Put it in. Fine.
You guys tell me to put it in, I'll give it to her.
Please do.
I want to say thank you to the ladies who have done our minutes for us this season.
yes.
That's been a huge help. It's allowed us all to be able to focus on the task at hand. Thank you so much to Chris Carter for coming in midstream and being a really great leader and giving us lots of information and really pulling from your knowledge base. Thank you to Andrew for tolerating us and videotaping us, setting up Zoom for us. And thank you all you members, because this is my 6th year and I have not ever had a year like this. This has really been challenging. I think we did the best we could with this budget. It's not my proudest moment, but I think it's what we could do with the money we had at hand.
I think we're all tired.
Yeah.
I know I am.
All right.
I'm sure
Well,
Chris
my
is.
last to get to say something.
Who?
Oh no. Who? Exactly. Who? I don't know. Anyway, I agree too. My only comment was going to be, this sucked. This really sucked. All right. And thank you really it was nice to get to not meet you personally, Mr. Cotta, but thank you for everything. You come into our meetings. I know you've had a lot of extra meetings to go to. And always thank you, Nancy and Donna. I really appreciate someone else taking minutes and doing secretarial work. It has helped me be able to concentrate and do more. So I really appreciate you guys and everybody else on the budget committee. And Mr. Larkin, the school too, for spending all the time coming to our meetings since you're still sitting there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey,
Thanks you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
who wants to make a motion to get out of here?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Don't argue.